Evening. Welcome to the great city of Opa-locka, tonight's regular commission meeting. It is Wednesday, July 13th, 2022, 7 p.m. I can't see it. What did I say? 7:13 p.m. Let's make note that Commissioner Davis is running late. Mr. Clerk, roll call.
Commissioner Bass,
Here.
Commissioner Dominguez,
Here.
Vice Mayor Taylor,
Here.
Mayor Williams.
Here. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the invocation led by Commissioner Vice Mayor Taylor.
God, we thank you for bringing us together one more time in your name. God, we charge this atmosphere that we would have peace in this hour. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Mr. Clerk, do we have any awards, proclamations, or acknowledgements at this time?
Yes, Madam Mayor.
Okay.
We are going to have a special award presented for the Florida Main Street designation.
Okay, at this time, I'm going to invite interim CRA manager, Mr. Corian Delane, to the podium for the presentation.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. My name is Corian Delane, Interim CRA Manager, as well as Executive Director of the Main Street Opa-locka. Today, we are pleased to present this plaque from the state of Florida and the Florida Main Street Program to announce that Opa-locka has been awarded the designation for a Main Street. What this is a program that the federal government actually authorized for support for historic downtowns. When Opa-locka was designed, it was created to have a vibrant, active downtown for the enjoyment of its residents back in 1926 through today. As you see, there are some, opportunities for us to reinvigorate what downtown Opa-locka truly looks like. And Main Street Opa-locka is charged to be a part of that conversation. How do we revisit how downtown Opa-locka is to look for the viability and creativity of our community? So today, I'm here to present a plaque that was presented to us from the state of Florida through the Department of State, signed off by Secretary of State Laurel Lee, the proclamation for the Main Street Opa-locka. We also have on the line Ms. Catherine Beck, who is the Main Street Coordinator for the state of Florida. If she's available, she may speak now.
Hi, Corian. Good evening, Commissioners. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I just wanted to take a moment to say to you, thanks again for the support that you lent to the program through the application process. We are very excited to work with Opa-locka as you go through your revitalization. I had the opportunity to do a reconnaissance visit at the end of April and spent a day in the corridor with Corian. I was very impressed. You have some tremendous assets. I think that you have taken the time over the last 2 years to put steps into place that will help you in revitalization, going through your comp plan amendments, ordinance changes, master planning, and looking at design guidelines. So with that basis, I think that you are very well positioned to begin a true revitalization process. I would like to let you know that in September, I, as well as other members of my team from the Bureau of Historic Preservation and National Main Street, will be visiting with you for about 3 days to do a community assessment and come up with a strategy that we think will work for you and your goals and visions for your community. So with that, again, I say thank you very much for your support of this program. We look forward to working with you. And if you have any questions or concerns, I would be more than happy to address those with you.
Does anyone have any questions?
Thank you.
All right. Well, we thank you for joining us, and we're honored to have this designation here in our city. And we look forward, and again, thank you, Mr. Delane and the entire board of the CRA for the work that you do to have this designation here in our city. Mr. Delane, did you want us to come down? No, I'm just asking, what did you?
Well, I'm presenting it to the city, so if you all would like to come down and accept the plaque, that would be great.
Okay, we'll do that.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, moving on. At this time, we would like to invite Ms. Kiera Ward, Director of Human Resource, to the podium for a presentation for our graduating class of 2022.
Good evening.
Good evening.
As we all are aware, it is graduation season. Today, I would like to take this opportunity to share in celebration and acknowledge the graduates of our very own team, Opa-locka. The Human Resources Department requested all city employees to provide photos and names of their graduates for this year. We invited these graduates to attend tonight's meeting and be recognized. I have a slideshow presentation that was created by our interns to announce our Team Opa-locka family graduates. I'm requesting that if any of the graduates are present this evening, that you please come up and join me along with your parent to be acknowledged and presented with a certificate. The graduating class of 2022. Okay, we have the son and daughter of Miss Tawana Lattery of our police department, Miss Fredria Lattery Porter and Fredrius Porter Jr., graduating from William H. Turner Technical High School and Carroll City Middle School. We have present here the daughter of our own John Renaud of the police department. Miss Allison Renaud is graduating from Charles Flanagan High School and Broward Community College as she was enrolled in dual enrollment, and she's here, so let's give her a round of applause. Congratulations. That is awesome. We have the granddaughter of Miss Floralba Wright of our police department. Little Miss Malia Yolanda Solomon is graduating from pre-K. She's a cutie. Also, we have the son of our payroll clerk in the finance department, Mr. Andrew Rivera. His son, Roman Rivera, is graduating from kindergarten at Broadway Elementary School. Okay, so we have a few. We have Miss Parker of our police department. She has 3 grandchildren that are that have graduated. Mr. Christian Jordan from the Pink and Blue Daycare, graduating from PK. He's here. Kimani Barnes of the Holy Cross Lutheran School Pre-K. And Mr. Cedrion Barr, who is graduating from Beacon College Prep Middle School. You want to take Kimani? Okay. Oh, that's Kimani. Okay. Congratulations, Kimani. And then Cedrion. Congratulations. You're welcome. We have the son of Mr. Jeffrey Faulkner of our police department. Von Darius Faulkner graduated from Dillard High School. We have employee Regina Ward of the police department. Her daughter, my sister, is graduated from Miami Norland Senior High School. We have one of our own in the Human Resources Department, Miss Diana Levers. Her daughter, Mia Brown, is graduating from Pembroke Pines Charter Middle School. Mr. Pernell Desir of our Public Works Director, his daughter graduated from Miami-Dade College of Nursing. Here. Congratulations. Thank you, Mr. Pernell, for coming. Congrats. He's proud. We have our very own Assistant City Manager, Shameka Lawson of the City Manager's Office. Her son, DeJuan Johnson, is graduating from middle school. Miss Zanya Ray, our Parks Director, her daughter, Vontavia Smith, is graduating from Nathan B. Young Elementary School. Employee Angelina Roberts of the Police Department has Jasiri Pearson, graduating 5th grade from Westview K-8 Center, and Tyshawn Williams, graduating also from Westview K-8 Center, graduating from 8th grade. Employee Davetta Wilson from the Police Department has a graduate, Gregoriana Frazier from the Arts Academy of Excellence, graduating 8th grade. Employee Dakari Griffin of our Parks and Recreation Department has a daughter graduating. Miss Ariana Griffin is graduating from pre-K at Nathan B. Young Elementary School. And lastly, one of our very own Team Opa-locka members of our finance department, Miss Amber Nazario Olan, has received her associate's degree in business management at Kaiser University. And that concludes my presentation. If you don't mind taking a picture with the graduates, please.
Of course.
Thank you.
So I'm going to open the floor to the commission to speak to the graduates. But before we continue, there are two missing graduates here. First, Miss Jordan Taylor, Vice Mayor Taylor's daughter, who graduated pre-K. Give her a hand. And of course, my, who thinks he's actually the mayor of Opa-locka, my boo, Mr. Jalen Williams, who graduated kindergarten. So we're so thrilled, graduates. I will be remiss, and I don't want to speak for the board, but I'm going to speak for the board just for the sake of time. We're so grateful. We're so thankful. You guys are our future. You know, many years ago, Whitney Houston had a song, and it's so cliche. It is cliche. I could sing it if you want.
Don't sing it.
Okay.
Please don't.
It said, I believe the children are our future.
That's it.
So don't sing it.
Don't sing
Okay.
it.
So, but you are our future. And it's just it's really cliche-ish, but you are. We would not be, we were all children. So we know that what this accomplishment that you garnered this year is going to take you into the future. Stay strong, stay solid, stay focused on your eyes on the prize, and make sure that you get that degree, that high school diploma. If you're going to go to I'm sorry, it's a long day, college or vocational, wherever you go, whatever you do, be a successful member and stay right here in the great city of Opa-locka. So once again, let's give them a big round of applause. Okay, we're going to move along with our agenda. Does anyone have any pulls, deferrals, or deletions from the consent agenda?
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
Yes, I like to pull 3 and 4.
Okay, 3 and 4. I will be pulling 2, 5, and 6. Anything else? All right. Can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'm sorry, y'all got to speak into the mic.
Move it.
Moved by Commissioner Bass,
Second.
second by Vice Mayor Taylor. Mr. Clerk, roll call.
Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Commissioner Dominguez,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Bass,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes.
Motion to approve the consent agenda passes 5-0.
Okay, we will now approve our agenda. I would like to amend the agenda to bring up item 18.1, which is the official board report, to move to the beginning of the agenda. If
Move it.
moved by Commissioner,
Second.
okay, it's been moved in second. Can I have a motion to approve tonight's agenda?
Madam Mayor, we need a vote on that.
I didn't hear you.
We need a vote on the amendment to the agenda.
Yeah, that was the vote. Oh, I'm sorry, I moved it, but
We-
we didn't
we
vote.
moved-
Thank
yes,
you.
okay.
Can I have a vote?
Yes, Madam Mayor. So Commissioner Dominguez,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Bass,
Yes.
Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes,
Motion to amend the agenda
thank you.
pass 5-0.
Can I have a motion to approve tonight's agenda?
Move it. Second.
Okay, it's been moved in second. Mr. Clerk, roll call.
Vice Mayor Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Bass,
Yes.
Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Commissioner Dominguez,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes.
Approval of the agenda passes 5-0.
Can I have a motion to approve the regular commission meeting minutes, May 11th, 2022?
Move it.
Moved.
Second.
It's been moved in second. Mr. Clerk, roll call.
Madam Mayor, who was the second?
I was.
Okay. Commissioner Bass,
Yes.
Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Commissioner Dominguez,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Taylor,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes.
Minutes are approved, 5-0.
Can I have a motion to approve the regular commission meeting minutes, June 8th, 2022?
Move it.
Moved by
Second.
Vice Mayor Taylor,
Second.
second by Commissioner Bass. Roll call.
Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Commissioner Dominguez,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Bass,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes.
Minutes are approved, 5-0.
Mr. Clerk, do we have any reports from our county commission?
No, Madam Mayor.
Okay. Mr. Clerk, do we have any public presentations?
None unless you'd like to have the
Yes.
Charter Review Board presentation at this time.
Yes, so at this time, I will bring up the Charter Review Board for presentation. You don't have to.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, Vice Mayor, Board. Janie Russell, 1210 Perry Street, and I chair the Charter Review Board. And I'm here, the rest of the members could not make it tonight, so I'm here solo. But I wanted to, we wanted you all to know, first of all, thank you for appointing us to this board. And we have worked diligently to go over the charter and to come up with some recommendations. All of the items that we've looked at were not ready to be presented. We are looking at other items which take a lot more time. But we felt that these two items that we have are very important to us, the community. And I say that because if we, the citizens of Opa-locka, don't have faith in our commission, then we can't expect others to. This compensation for the commission has been and probably will continue to be a touchy subject. But the majority of the board, 4-1, believe that it warrants us taking it before the voters. And just know that we're not just we just didn't do all of this work with the help of the clerk's office, the attorney's office, and the manager's office, just to say we're gonna just give it to the voters. We're going to also be encouraging our voters to look at the referendum that we have and to join with us in making it a reality. A lot has been said about why our commission does not receive compensation, which is just not true. A lot has been said as to the state coming in and reasons why compensation was removed. That's not true. But the board, I believe, worked diligently in coming up with these two items that we are going to be encouraging our citizens. And we hope that you, the commission, will also agree with us on putting these referendums on the ballot for November. There are other items like it's been a long day. The form of government that we have that we'll be looking at. There's also having seats, commission seats or districts that we were told that have been looked at before, that we will be looking at, that takes a lot of time, that we will be going over. So we encourage our citizens, when we have the forums, to get involved. I have learned a lot while sitting on this board. A lot of things that I've learned that people have said have just been missed. It has not been the truth. But one thing I learned in school, education is a good weapon. And there's a saying that when you get in trouble, get in good trouble. So I think that the work that we've done and the efforts that have been put into this have been genuine. People have been very passionate, and you have people that really love this community and think that our commission deserves more than you get. And we're not doing it just for you, the commission that sit here now. We're doing it for the commissions to come. You never know when you're going to be sitting in the seat, or your grandchild or your child is going to be sitting in the seat. And I believe that if you don't take care of your own, don't expect other people to do that. With all that being said, if you have any questions for me, I'll be more than glad to try to answer them as best I can. We were in information overload these months that we have sat on this board.
Madam Mayor,
Commissioner Davis.
thank you. Through the mayor to Mrs. Russell, I just had a few questions regarding resolutions 5 and 6. I see that they're almost identical,
Yes,
except for one small change, which includes a monthly vehicle stipend that's outlined in number 6. I do know that there's 2 separate resolutions. Were those 2 resolutions being proffered so that we can vote and obviously approve one as opposed to the other, or were they both? I mean, was the idea to consider them both? I mean, I don't just want to kind of understand, because I know we have both resolutions on the agenda.
well, the consensus were to send both of them to the voters. Because we got kind of stuck in the area of the car stipend. So on one of them, we put the car stipend, on the other one, we did not. Because, we weren't all in agreement. We didn't have the majority of the agreement when it came to the car stipend. So that's why we want to send 2 to give the people. And also we had a citizens, we had citizen input. And when we had the citizen input too, those 2 items were, the car stipend versus not having the car stipend. Those were things that were kind of stickler to us.
Okay, so the idea is to kind of put both options on the table, and obviously the commission can debate it, and at a later date, it can be placed on the ballot for consideration of the citizens of this community.
Yes.
Okay, all right, got it. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Russell.
Thank you. Any other
welcome.
questions?
Madam Mayor,
Yes, Commissioner
just a
Bass.
comment. I just want to say thank you to you all for putting in all that work. I know it was hours upon hours of work to accomplish what you have accomplished. And I know,
Twice a month,
yes, I know
sometimes 3 times a month.
that it was not easy, but you did well. And we thank you so much.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. I can tell you that I myself learned a lot by watching the meetings. First of all, kudos to you, Board Chair Russell, for, for directing the board, for, making everything just as smooth as possible. I believe you all asked so many questions that were just so intentional. Copious notes were being written, and I believe I'm going to say the clerk's office probably never worked so hard in their life than with with the Charter Review Board. So again, the whole board, we're so grateful for your service.
Before I sit down, I would just like to say thank you also to you, Madam Mayor, Vice Mayor. A lot of you all did not know, but for the last few weeks, my mom was in a very bad accident. And she comes to Opa-locka religiously. And on her way back home, she got in an accident about 3 weeks ago. So that's why I haven't been as visible as I would like to be, but I would like to say thank you for those of you that were praying for her and that called. And I tell her every time somebody call, I said, Mama, they call to check on you, see how you doing. And then she started asking about everybody. But thank you all very much. She's home now, on my way to the Grove now. So thank you again.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
I believe we're good. Thank you so much, Board
Okay.
Chair Russell. Mr. Clerk, can you please read the rules of participation for Citizens Forum?
Yes, Madam Mayor. Good evening. The City of Opa-locka Commission meetings are held in person at Shabandia Village Auditorium, 215 Purvis Avenue, Opa-locka, Florida. Members of the public wishing to address the commission may do so in person or virtually. Those persons wishing to participate virtually should register prior to the scheduled meeting time on the city's website at opalockafl.gov. When speaking before the commission, please make sure to give your full name and address for the record. There is a 3-minute time limit for public comments. Please adhere to the decorum policy, which is part of the commission meeting agenda. City commission meetings are live streamed on youtube.com/users/city of Opa-locka. Registrations, right now, we do not have any registrations for folks to address the commission. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Citizens Forum is open.
Good evening, Dias. Tangela Parker, 1266 Fisherman Street. I yield my 3 minutes to my husband, Wilbert Parker.
Good evening, Wilbert Parker, 1266 Fisherman Street. I bid both the dais, Madam Mayor, Mr. Vice Mayor, and all commissioners, good evening. I'm here in reference to a warning violation from Miami-Dade County in reference to illegal dumping. Something that we do not condone, something that we did not do, but I got a warning saying that if it is not picked up by the 19th, which is next Tuesday, we will be fined. We had nothing to do with it. It was something that done overnight, and it's not nothing new. I'm sure that it is around the city as well. But for right now, I don't think we should be punished for something that we didn't do. The alleyway is city property. It is not our personal property. It's not on our property side. It is right in the middle of the alley. I'm sure that there are many alleys in Opa-locka that have dumps, stuff that's been dumped. Some of you live near alleys. Some of you on this commission probably face the same problem. But I'm sure that you did not get violated. You didn't get a violation notice. I'm not speaking just for me, not just for you, but every citizen in Opa-locka. We will be punished by Miami-Dade County. I'm sure that somebody on this commission knows somebody in Miami-Dade County. Give them a call because it may be you next. Thank you.
Citizens Forum is open.
One 4911 Duval Street, Ariel Lundy. Hi, Madam Mayor. Hi, Vice Mayor. Hi, Commissioners. Okay, I'm here today because of the fact that police officers here cannot get their contract situated. Come on now. Enough is enough. Give the people the opportunity because they out there fighting for their lives. They out there doing everything out there. Give them an opportunity to be able to negotiate their deal so they can get their contract. That's just like y'all be on the dice carrying on and crying about who getting this and who getting that. Give the people an opportunity. You know, get it over with. From 2014, that man said he never had a contract. Is that fair? The same way y'all feel about y'all up on this dice here, crying and carrying on, is that fair? Give the people an opportunity. Let them get their opportunity to get their contract. Everybody wants to have a job that's secured. Give them that opportunity, please, with all due respect. Give them that opportunity. Everybody here wants to be secured. That's just life. Those guys go out there every day and risk their lives, especially in the area where I'm at. I watch them. So give them the opportunity to be able to get their lives secured and negotiate their deal so it makes sense for y'all and for them. Please.
Going to do as I told, Madam Mayor. Good evening, everybody, Madam Mayor, Mr. Vice Mayor, Madam City Attorney, staff. My name is Michael Braverman. I'm the Special Labor Counsel for the South Florida Police Benevolent Association. Interestingly enough, hearing the speaker that was just before me, we're here this evening, and if I can just kind of take a moment of personal privilege, I want you to know that I've been doing this for a long time. I've been with the PBA, started there in 1986, and I want you to know that I feel like I'm coming home because literally Opa-locka was the very first city that I ever worked for in the PBA, and I've been continuing to come here since 1986. I got in the bar in 88, and I want you to know that I'm proud to represent the men and women that are the members of your police department. I couldn't say enough. I don't have enough time to tell you the struggles that they have been facing. The worst year in law enforcement for deaths in the line of duty for law enforcement officers ever. We all know what we've suffered through with COVID and all the associated issues that you all have been dealing with. The gentleman that spoke before me, he's right. If you look at your collective bargaining agreement, you'll see that the date on that agreement is 2012 to 2014. Now, because I do have a lot of history that I was here for, I do understand the trials and tribulations that Opa-locka has gone through. And I want you to know that the men and women that I represent have stood beside each and every one of you and the citizens of this city throughout all of those hard times. But now the time has come. The city manager, the PBA are ready to seal this deal. And the only thing I'm asking you to do is exactly what the prior speaker just said. And some of the other speakers, I believe, hit on an important point. Be tenacious, stick to your guns and go forward and get a good agreement. That's what we're asking you all to authorize the city manager to do, and let us get on with the business of concluding this collective bargaining agreement. I want you to know we've had discussions. We had a meeting set for July 6th, had to be postponed, but we are ready to do the business of both the citizens, the city, and the PBA. And I guarantee you that through the manager, myself, Andrew Axelrad, the general counsel, the city attorney's office, one of the city attorney's associates used to be a PBA attorney, Sherlon McWaters, and she's been at the meetings and has been involved in collective bargaining in the past. I really hope that you all give the city manager the authorization and the green light to close this out and be able to move forward, and give the men and women of Opa-locka that spend every moment of their workday making sure that we have the benefit of being safe and to sit here and to debate these issues and talk about the needs of the rest of the citizens. Thank you for the opportunity to be here. As I said, I really do appreciate seeing you all, seeing some of the old faces, and whatever we can do to get this done, we're here to work together. Thank you, Madam Mayor and Commission.
Thank you. Citizens Forum is open.
Alex Van Meckel, 806 Jan Avenue. Good evening, Madam Mayor, Vice Mayor, and the rest of commission. Usually, and I'm notoriously known for speaking to issues on historic preservation and looking at the past and preserving what we have as a city. But I've taken acute interest in the recent developments that I read about in the Miami Herald concerning the site of the Opa-locka Hialeah Flea Market. Obviously a source of much pride, joy, and culture for not just Opa-locka, but the surrounding region. I hope that this isn't cart before the horse. I speak just an opinion about what I've read about in regards to the intended proposal from Link Logistics. But from an urban planning perspective and just for the vitality of a community that we all love and want to be in and around day in and day out. Madam Mayor, you spoke to our young graduates. By the way, congratulations, young graduates. You implored them to come back or to stay in Opa-locka. I don't know, I'm not a zoning expert. I don't know how any of this works in regards to rezoning, considering other alternatives. I'm all for progress. I'm all for profit. That being said, this is a historic opportunity to evaluate the use of a critical piece of land, one that may not come available to this city in many years to come. Just across the street, there's plenty of warehouses, probably for similar purposes. They're great, they're flashy, they're new, but they don't serve the needs of the community. Again, both at our community here in Opa-locka as well as in the region. So whether it be a conversation about what multi-use could look like, housing, a component perhaps of commercial logistics, whatever the intention is or the vision. I would like to think that there's conversations, happening for next week at the Planning and Zoning Board on Tuesday, but also just internally to evaluate is what's being proposed in the best use and service for the future of this city. Because I don't know about you as fellow neighbors, but I would love to go to a restaurant or a place, a community space, one filled with amenities that is smack dab right at the heart of and at the entrance of one of our critical thoroughways of this city. And just objectively and looking at the proposed schematic, or if you will, the rendering, and in looking at Link Logistics portfolio in South Florida specifically, it's nothing new. It looks like everything else that they already have. So when they claim to push forward and pay respect to our heritage and our culture, that being the Moorish aesthetic that we're so proud to represent, have on our emblem, it's kind of a far cry, if you will. If you look at the traditional Moorish that's been presented in that rendering, it doesn't at all complement what could be for this community. Madam Mayor, you mentioned Whitney Houston. I'll end with this. She also had a duet with Mariah Carey from a movie that I personally love, The Prince of Egypt, which ironically kind of connects to the Moorish Arabic sentiment that we have, an aesthetic. There can be miracles when you believe, and I truly believe that what we can do with a space like that and what we can encourage a developer and owner to do would serve the needs of this community well beyond me being a historic homeowner, you being commissioners. I really think that, the brilliant minds that be can come together to try to kind of see as many perspectives and serve the needs, because I would love to not have to go to Doral or Dana Point to have a beautiful space to go to. Even Miami Gardens has been very aggressive about what they've provided regionally, but also for their residents. So again, cart before the horse a little bit, but I thank you for your time and I hope this is top of mind. Thank you.
Thank you. Citizens Forum is open. Citizens Forum is closed. Okay, We're now going to move to our action items. Our first item that was pulled from the consent agenda, 13-1. Madam Clerk.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, approving issuance of a request for proposals, RFP, for the provision of a vacant, abandoned, foreclosed property management services for the city, providing for incorporation of recitals, providing for effective date. This is sponsored by the city manager.
Thank you. Can I have a motion? Moved by Commissioner Davis,
Second.
second by Vice Mayor Taylor. Mr. Manager.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm going to ask that our Director of Planning and Community Development, Mr. Gregory Gay, come forward and present this item.
Madam Mayor, members of the commission, Gregory Gay, Director of Planning and Community Development. This RFP process that we're presenting before you is an RFP that was asked for about 2 to 3 years ago, actually by a member of the commission, to look at the registration process for our vacant properties. As I've been here for the past 8 years, there have been a number of properties that have fallen into hard times, have become somewhat derelict, and fallen into disrepair. This particular RFP is to seek out a company that will look into having these properties properly registered on an annual basis. And also through the RFP process, we're looking to see what opportunities may be out there to look at where these abandoned properties or vacant properties can be addressed as it relates to any fines, liens, citations. And if the city is in a position where there are some opportunities to take it through a foreclosure process and possibly have these properties be received by the city in order to move them forward into a better condition going forth. We initially were looking at doing a piggyback, but through research, it was determined that there were other companies that were out there and we needed to go through an RFP process in order to move this particular item forward. Therefore, we bring this item before you for consideration. You have any questions? I'll address them at this time.
Yes, I have some questions. So you stated that originally you were working with a company to piggyback. How long were you working with that company as a piggyback item?
We initially started this late 2019, early 2020. During the pandemic, we kind of lost track as it relates to the timing of it. I would say we probably lost a year in communicating with this particular company. We picked it up again back in late 2020, early 2021, looking at the opportunities for getting contracts that they had already secured with other municipalities in order to move forward with this one particular company, which has done work with several municipalities within the city, within Dade and Broward County. Also during that time period, we were made aware of some other companies through research that we needed to take in consideration for these particular companies that were doing similar work, if not exactly the same work, but similar work through Dade and Broward County. And it was determined at that point, because there were multiple companies, that we should take this through an RFP process.
Okay. So you stated that in 2019, also in 2020, you came back to it, and then in 2021. So for about 3 years, there was a company that was clearly vetted by several other cities that they used this process for. And you also just stated that you were told. Can you tell me who told you about the other companies so that you put it out as an RFP?
Through our research, staff identified some companies, and company information was brought forth by members of the commission.
Okay, so okay. So for 3 years, there was conversations and in my research, meetings, correct?
Correct.
Were these meetings had by other people, possibly the city attorney? Was she in it on these meetings?
The city attorney was involved with, I
Okay,
believe,
so
2 or
I'm
3
gonna
meetings.
default to the city attorney. If you can explain to me what occurred in those meetings.
There were about 2 meetings of which I was involved in. We met with, Madam Mayor, excuse me. We met with the one particular vendor. We had also on the line code enforcement, members from the city manager's office, and also planning. We went through information that they had to share with us, which included the number of properties that were in
Ms. Bernadette, can
foreclosure.
you speak up a little? I'm sorry.
oh.
Can you speak up a little?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Which included the number of properties that were in foreclosure. And they also had some additional research information. They explained to us their process. They also shared various other city ordinances of which they had contracts with. We researched those ordinances, working with staff and talked through some of those ordinances in the meetings, and that was pretty much it. But we did have at least 2 meetings that I recall. There may have been other meetings that they had with staff members.
Okay, thank you. So that means your office, as well as the city attorney's office, was already in the process of, or have already vetted this company for 2019, 2020, and 2021. From my understanding, they've already done work, research. And recently, now that we're ready to move forward, let's pivot on 3 years worth of work that your office, along with the city attorney's office, worked with, because someone, or research, or I guess also others told you about other companies. Is that safe to say?
For the most part, your statement is very much accurate. But we do have to take in consideration that staff also did do some research as it relates to other companies that were brought to our attention, as well as information that we had done research as well. And to be totally fair and transparent, we just felt that because of these other companies and not knowing necessarily what type of services they may bring that are in addition to what we were seeking, we felt that it needed to go through our RFP process in order to be a fair process.
Okay, so I'm all for RFP, but again, all that time was put into a company that was already out here in Miami-Dade County that worked with several cities that did the work. You researched it because 2019, 2020, and 2021, they were already vetted. Like you said, you all had meetings, and then we stop, we pivot to move because you were told there were other companies. So that's my issue that I have with this. Personally, if a company have already started the work, and then what gives me pause is that 2020 and 2021, you just said you were 2 years ago, you were approached to start this process. And I know we all have been talking about this since I've been up here for 2 years. We've been talking about this process, but for 3 years, it had already started.
If I could just add some additional information, what they presented to us was the process that they would go to and the information that they had accessible, which is basically accessible to any and all companies through the property appraisers information and tax assessor's office. So I can't necessarily say that they were already working, but they basically gave us samples of what type of work they would provide. So we did not have a contract with them, so we had not established a working relationship with them, but they proffered information as to how they would go through this registration process and the information that they would provide.
So it was also my understanding that this company that did work, and they presented this work, which is a comprehensive list of semi-comprehensive list of possible foreclosure properties that was presented in one of these meetings. Is that, yes, did that happen?
I do not recall that. There was a
Okay.
list for, they just showed us how they access information through the internet services and what type of information they could provide to us. But as far as an actual list just for the city of Opa-locka, I don't recall that being produced.
So I'm going to, and I'm just going to state it because I have questions, and it makes me raise an eyebrow as to why a department, along with our city attorney's office, would start a process with a company that was a piggyback that have already been vetted by multiple cities in Miami-Dade County. And we stopped the process right in its track to move to a RFP to allow other companies to come in. That gives me pause. So I'm just gonna put that out there to my colleagues. Y'all can think about that. Any questions or any comments?
Madam Mayor?
Madam Mayor?
Yes,
If I may?
yes.
I've probably been around the longest, so I was here actually the whole 3 years. I know you guys can kind of speak to 2 years ago, but prior to those 2 years, in 2019, I sponsored legislation to basically establish just that, a vacant property ordinance here in our city to address some of the vacant property issues and derelict properties, what ultimately leads to safety and health concerns in our community. I feel I share your same sentiments. Ultimately, that this legislation was passed in 2019, and apparently, I didn't see much movement, right? So here we are picking up the issue, and I guess we're now under this understanding that staff has been working with this contractor. And it's not unusual for the city to do piggyback bids or obviously to put items out that are to be procured through the RFP process. It's usually a management decisions. Obviously we can cut some of the procurement costs when the item does go out for piggyback, right? Because we're just kind of tailoring on other municipalities' contracts and the work that has been established, as opposed to doing the RFP process, which will require us to expend money to market, advertise, et cetera. I'm really indifferent. I don't care if it goes out, RFP or, a piggyback bid. I know a lot of times with the piggyback bids, because we are tailoring, what is happening in another community, sometimes we take some of the, the bad things or the things that may not necessarily fit for our community in it, so it's not always the best option. But yeah, I would personally not want to, lead that decision either way, as a commissioner, and that, basically we're not privy to those sort of day-to-day decisions. And it's been common practice over the years that management, the city manager's office, they make recommendations to the commission. And if we have a problem, obviously, through a consensus, they can take it back and reconsider how the item is procured.
Okay, anyone else?
Madam Mayor?
Vice Mayor Taylor?
Okay, I'm a little confused in this sense. Are we advocating that you said that person does not have a contract with the city at all?
There's no contract at this time.
Okay, so are we advocating for the company that was stated that had the meetings that some of us have no idea what you all are talking about? You said some commissioners had meetings, and also, are we advocating for that particular company? Because that's what it sounds like we're doing.
Yeah, so can I,
We
if you
are.
don't mind, no, I'm not saying that part.
But that's what it
No.
it seems, because I like I've been an advocate for foreclosure, and I don't have a problem with the RFP, and I do agree with my colleague. I would like to see how we shape it to fit Opa-locka as opposed to piggybacking. But it just sounds like that we're advocating for a company and things were said and alluded to that commissioners were having secret meetings and all of this. So I'm a little confused by those statements.
Yeah, let me, if you don't mind, I can explain.
Please.
Yeah,
'Cause you gotta
so-
clear that up.
No. So let me explain. I'm not advocating for any company. I'm advocating for the best company. But you know, when I do my research and I see that an office, two offices within our city, not just the attorney, but Mr. Gay's office had 3 years worth of conversations and talks and meetings. And you have a company who have already, because they're piggyback, have already started this process with Mr. Gay's office. That's the point I'm making, that process. So that means initially, I'm sorry, the office had to initially go to that company, correct? In order to start those conversations initially to follow up as a piggyback. But 3 years later, so I'm not advocating for anything because I'm definitely for offer RFP because you allow the fishnet to go out further. But that's what gives me pause because an RFP now tells me that we're now advocating or we're now trying to bring in another company that I'm not saying commission, I'm saying anyone wants to sneak in because that bothers me when I hear we have already started the process. We all wanted this to happen. So the process was done.
Madam Chair, if the process had already been done, what we would have presented to you was a piggyback contract.
Okay,
Yes,
that's what
Resolution
I
for
was
a
of
gonna
piggyback
course,
ask.
contract.
yes.
We
So why
weren't,
didn't we?
we were not, staff in this evaluation was not fully satisfied with the information that was being provided by that particular company and wanted to look at other opportunities. Therefore, we felt that it would be better to go through the RFP process.
Okay. So I'm just making it known that this is something that makes me raise a brow because it looks as if, it has the look as if we're going to stop because someone may have said or told us we may have found another company. So let's open the fishnet wider. So now, of course, it's convenient to say they didn't do what we wanted, but we wasted 3 years working with them. But now the work wasn't good enough. I'm done. Thank you.
Madam Mayor, and this, and I don't mean no harm when I say this, but I see the complete opposite of what you see. Because if we're advocating for a particular company, as you say, that's what gives me pause. Because I would rather us, like my colleagues said, or what you said, put that fishnet out there to get someone that is tailored for Opa-locka. And so it just sounds like we're advocating for this particular company on conversations that I wasn't privy to. I wasn't here 3 years ago. So I don't know those conversations and you stated that things were said to you and I don't even know what you all are talking about, what these meetings that we're alluding to, but
He had meetings with the city attorney. Those are the meetings I'm
No, but
talking
you
about.
said that you had,
No.
that you said I talked to somebody and I did my own education.
Yeah, research. I can
I
do,
did
yeah, you can
research.
do research.
But
We
then,
all can do
but then that
research.
question, my question, well, how would you know to do that research if you wasn't told to do that?
No, come on.
I mean, you
Taylor.
brought it up. I'm just saying.
No, I brought it up,
So,
but
yeah,
the point of it is
you did
it's
that.
not, that's not the point. The point of it is
I would rather see it for RFP. If we're gonna do it,
see
do
it
it
as
right and be
RFP,
fair.
but I'm just saying, keep your eyes open.
Madam Mayor.
I don't think
Yes.
we should
I'm
accuse
sorry.
our
I'm sorry.
employees, but okay.
I'm not accusing anyone.
Saying things like keep your eyes open and it
But
gives me
that's
pause
not-
and eyebrows, that's making a. Go ahead, Commissioner Bass.
Madam Mayor.
Yes.
I just have a question for Mr. Gay. Well, I'll just throw it out there. The company that you are not name call, but you are talking about with an RFP, would that company have the opportunity to bid?
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
after hearing what you said, I really don't feel comfortable with someone or a company coming, especially if they've already been talking for the past 2 or 3 years, a meeting, and it hasn't been presented to us in that fashion. So I don't feel comfortable with this item at this time. Thank you.
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
I totally understand what Commissioner Dominguez is saying, but that's why I asked the question about the RFP. Because if an RFP goes out, anybody can bid, and then we make a decision. So it really doesn't matter if we go this way or go that way, as long as the RFP is there and what they present to us is vetted and we do our part, then we can, you know, take care of
It's a
city's
piggyback.
business.
Are there any other questions? Okay, thank you. Mr. Clerk, roll call.
Commissioner Dominguez,
No.
Vice Mayor Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Bass.
Yes.
Commissioner Davis,
Wholeheartedly, yes.
Mayor Williams,
No.
motion passes 3-2.
Okay, thank you. Item 13.3, Madam Attorney.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, authorizing the city manager to execute amendment number 1 to the DW 130331 loan agreement with the Florida Department of Environmental Protection relating to the State Revolving Fund, SRF, loan program for drinking water, providing for a corporation of recitals, providing for an effective date. This is sponsored by the city manager.
Mr. Manager.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. At this time, I'd asked Mr. Aria Austin, our Director of Public Works, to come and present this item.
Good evening, Aria Austin, Public Works Director. This item is to close out a loan that was obtained by the city back in 2015 for citywide drinking water projects. At that time, the state relegated the spending to only Carroll Lane. The Carroll Lane has used up all of the drinking water portions from this loan, and the state requests that we close the remaining balance and apply for any new loans for drinking water in a new application. So this is to close out a drinking water loan in the amount of $2.4 million.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to move the item for discussion?
Move it.
Move, moved by Commissioner Dominguez, second by Commissioner Bass. Any questions, discussion?
Madam Mayor.
Yes, Commissioner Dominguez.
The reason why I pull this item is because when I read it and it states here that it's a loan program for drinking water. However, when you go to page 96, which was, it states that it's a rehabilitation of sewer pump station 7. I just want clarity on this because I don't understand how they connect when it says sewer pump station number 7, but this is talking about drinking water. So if through the manager.
This should not be connected to any pump sewer stations. This is solely for the closeout of a drinking water loan. There may be some Scribner's errors on the item, but it's just for the closeout of a drinking water loan.
So what you're stating is that this, what that was attached, this page 96 is an error?
That's correct.
Okay, so do we have the correct can't hear her, part that goes with this? I mean, it's together as if it's connected, so I just found it strange that it's talking about drinking water, but this is sewer. So.
Mr. Manager, if I could have the finance director, they're the ones that proffered the language for the closeout.
Certainly.
Good evening, everyone. Jerry Lazaro, Finance. This is just to amend the language for the drinking loan. So I don't know why that additional component was attached. We only had submitted the amendment documents, which is to amend the drinking water contract. So there shouldn't have been anything else related to the sewer included.
But it's included in the package, so that's why I had questions, because it doesn't correlate, you know, talking about sewer and drinking water, which are totally different, so.
So I'm looking at the attachment now and I see drinking water state revolving fund amendment 1 to loan agreement DW 130-331. The amendment shows the total value of the loan, which we have in the cover memo, as well as the CFDA number for this. So it is for the drinking water.
Okay, thank you for that.
I apologize if that was included.
Any additional questions? Okay. Hearing none. Mr. Clerk, roll call.
Vice Mayor Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Bass.
Yes.
Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Commissioner Dominguez,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes,
Motion passes 5-0.
thank you. Item 13-4.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, authorizing the city manager to issue an additional payment of $10,390 to Markham LLP for additional supplemental work related to completing the September 30, 2020 audit, providing for incorporation of recitals, providing for an effective date. This is sponsored by the city manager.
Thank you, Mr. Manager.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. At this time, I will request Ms. Jerry Lazar, our Acting Finance Director, to come and address this item.
Good evening, everyone. So we've been working with Markham LLP, who was selected to perform the audit. Initially, the 2020 audit was set to begin in January. There's been a lot of changes. There's been a lot of delays with respect to the audit. As a respect to that, it caused delays with the audit firm. So every time we had to push a delay because we didn't have information or waiting for things to be put together from various sources, not just one department or person, that caused delays with Markham. And obviously, the audit firm has a schedule with all of their clients. So if we were delayed, then they had to push back on other projects. And so as a result, it's causing them to revisit their schedules. They've actually had people already scheduled for vacation, conferences, and other things that are going on. So we've had to sort of retweak the schedule to accommodate that. We also had to make some additional adjustments related to 20 that affected the audit. So all of these things together and combined is causing a delay. And as a result, from their contract, they have a right to ask for additional fees if the audit is delayed. And so that's what they're doing. And we're basically at the point where we want this audit to continue. We've selected Markham. We're working with Markham. So we're basically at the point where we actually need to give them this to be able to move this audit forward, because they have not come back on site to continue with the audit until this agreement is signed. And so we're just basically at the point where we need this agreement signed so that we can continue with the audit with Markham. I don't know if you have any questions.
Yes. One second. Can I have a motion to move the item?
Move it.
Moved by Commissioner Davis.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Taylor. Any questions?
Madam Mayor,
Yes, Commissioner Dominguez.
the reason why I pulled this item, I actually went back to the special commission meeting, which was held November 22nd, 2021, regarding an RFP to propose for Markham LLP. In the meeting, Ms. Lazier, you stated that we accepted the proposal. If we accept the proposal with Malcolm LLP, they will begin working on 2 audits. The 2020 audit will be completed by February through March, We all know that didn't happen.
Mhm.
And that the 2021 audit would be completed by June 30th, 2022. However, then we get an email from Tri-Merge that their contract was terminated June 29th, 2022. Now, when I looked at the proposals that were received, of course, Markham LLP was the lowest, was the highest score. And we chose that one, which was $39,995. Now, when I looked up at their respond to the RFP, they put a lot of information regarding the company. For over 70 years, Markham National Top 15 firm has provided professional services to the public sector and a lot more information. But it also states that in the past year alone, the Florida region of Markham has performed more than 40 audits of government entities. At a national level, we provide services to more than 250 government entities. And then in another part of the RFP proposal that they submitted, it states, we will perform an audit on the financial statement of the city of Opa-locka, Florida for fiscal year ended September 30th, 2020 and 2021. We acknowledge receipt of all addendums and are committed to perform the work within the time period defined in the RFP. So I'm all for us getting ahead with this audit because we need to get out of financial oversight. But I'd just like to ask, why have they not completed this audit, especially the 2020, when they stated in their proposal that they would, complete it. And, it's an additional amount. And also want to know, have they been paid for the 2020 audit?
So let me try to address all your questions.
Yeah.
So there's factors that affect the external auditor, and then there's factors that affect the city internally. So we did lose two staff accountants in November and December. So internally, there's struggles within the department when you're losing staff who are critical to the audit engagement. And both of those individuals were new, so we didn't have to recruit for those individuals. We also had a lot of turnover in the management department. That is critical to the audit because we can't sign off on anything without the auditor, without the city manager. So there was a lot of things that the auditors had requested from us that we couldn't even get signed because we didn't have a manager in place in the beginning when we were starting the audit. That was a problem. So that caused delays internally with the city. And then also too, there's a lot of things that the auditor actually sends you a PBC list, which is a listing of things that they want you to prepare before the audit begins. So they sent that list to us and we had struggles internally putting that information together, working internally with your departments as well as the finance department with the loss of staff. So if the auditor says that they want the information as of this date and you miss that deadline, well, guess what? They now have to push the schedule. So they're constantly having to push the schedule to accommodate the city. So that's one aspect. So it wasn't completely the external auditor's fault. There's a lot of internal things that are happening at the city of Opa-locka. Two, even though they were the lowest price bid, even with the addition of this additional fee, they're still the lowest price. The others were like 70 to 80,000. So I think Markham was still the best bet. They have a lot of experience. They've been able to share a lot of experience with the team. So we're happy to have them and I don't see any problems with Markham. They're allowed to ask for the additional fees because of the pushing of the audit, and that's basically what's happening. There was another question you asked, third question. I can't remember the third point, but one you asked, okay, something about the fees, why is there a delay?
Yeah, if we've paid them for the 2020
Oh, so the
audit.
2020 audit. So most firms, most professional firms, they do professional service billing where they bill over time. So they've sent us 2 invoices so far. They have started work. They've been working with us on the CRA audit as well as the city audit. So they've sent us 2 bills for the CRA audit, which we forwarded to the CRA to forward on. And they sent us 2 bills for the city audit. We've paid one of the bills and then there's another one outstanding. It's about 30-something thousand. We've probably paid them maybe 10,000. So we have not paid them all of the money and we don't anticipate paying them everything until the audit is delivered in a draft format.
Okay, there's something else that I also would like to ask, and if they can provide us with information, which is on page 134. It says firm agrees to furnish to the city with written progress reports at such time and with such frequency at the city many reasonably requests and as specified in the applicable RFP. So can we get a report
They give
regarding
us
how
status
far
updates.
are we? And how soon can we get that?
So every CPA firm works a little differently. Some will give you a detailed listing. Markham seems to just give you like a one sentence structure. Hey, give me your draft. Once you give me your draft, we'll proceed. So they have given us status update letters. They're just not as detailed as you may want to see it. Every firm for liability or risk purposes may give you more than someone else. They actually have a portal where they send all of their requests and they expect us to update everything through their portal. So that's where they give more of the detail and they just give summary updates in the status report. So we have received those. They've gone to the city manager's office and we can certainly put that together to provide you the status update reports.
Thank you. I would appreciate it. I don't know if anybody else would like a report, but that would be helpful to know where we're at. This audit. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Dominguez. Anyone else? Okay. Mr. Clerk, roll call.
Commissioner Bass,
Yes.
Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Commissioner Dominguez,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Taylor,
Yes.
and Mayor Williams.
Yes.
Item passes 5-0.
Item 13.5.
A resolution of the city of Opa-locka, Florida, calling for a referendum of the qualified electors of the city for the purpose of determining whether the city charter shall be amended to increase the compensation for the mayor and commission members from $550 per month to $1,000 per month, providing for life insurance and medical insurance, providing for an effective date 30 days following the conclusion of state financial oversight, stating the referendum question, stating the text of the proposed charter amendment, stating the date on which the referendum will be held, providing for an effective date for the charter amendment if approved, providing for severability, providing for an effective date.
Okay, can I have a motion to move the item?
Move it.
Moved by Commissioner Davis,
Second.
second by Commissioner Bass. Since we've already had the Charter Review Board speak on the item, we can move ahead and vote. I'm getting tongue-tied. Mr. Clerk.
Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Commissioner Dominguez,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Bass,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes. Item
Motion
13,
passes 5-0.
item 13.6.
A resolution of the city of Opa-locka, Florida, calling for a referendum of the qualified electors of the city for the purpose of determining whether the city charter shall be amended to increase the compensation for the mayor and commission members from $550 per month to $1,000 per month, providing for life insurance, medical insurance, and a $300 monthly vehicle stipend, providing for an effective date 30 days following the conclusion of state financial oversight, stating the referendum question, stating the text of the proposed charter amendment, stating the date on which the referendum will be held, providing for an effective date for the charter amendment if approved, providing for severability, providing for an effective date.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to move the item?
Move it.
Moved by Commissioner Davis,
Second.
second by Vice Mayor Taylor. Roll call.
Commissioner Dominguez,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Bass,
Yes.
Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Okay, moving on to item 16A1.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, amending the annual adopted general proprietary and special revenue funds budgets for the fiscal year commencing October 1, 2021, and ending September 30th, 2022, adjusting revenues and expenditures as reflected in Exhibit A, providing for the expenditure of funds established by the budget, authorizing the city manager to take certain actions, providing for appropriation of all budgets and expenditures, providing for fees consistent with appropriations and amendment, providing for incorporation of recitals, providing for conflict and repealer, providing for severability, providing for an effective date. This is sponsored by the city manager.
Thank you. Mr. Manager, can you please introduce the item?
Absolutely, Madam Mayor. At this time, I request that Mr. Robert Anathan, our Budget Administrator, come and present this item.
Hi, good evening, Commission. Bob Anathan, Budget Administrator. It's budget amendment time again. As is outlined in your item, we've identified approximately $977,000 of items that were not previously addressed in the budget that we feel should be addressed at this time. There is a presentation. I can go through it quickly, or I can just stand for your questions you may have on any items that you observed in the package. So if I can get some sense as to whether you'd rather see the presentation or I'll just respond to your questions.
Before we move on, this is a public hearing item for agenda item 16A1. Public hearing is open. Public hearing is closed. Can I have a motion to discuss agenda item 16A1?
Move it.
Moved by Commissioner Bass,
Second.
second by Vice Mayor Taylor. Any discussion, questions for Mr. Anathan? Okay. Mr. Clerk, roll call.
Vice Mayor Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Bass.
Yes.
Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Commissioner Dominguez,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0, or item passes.
Okay, thank you. And now for our city manager's report.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. At this time, I will utilize my time to address the items that come up in the public forum. I would like to address the concerns presented by the Parker family. We are aware of the issues that the city's having with the illegal dumping, and we are working judiciously to address those. We've had meetings with the county to amend the MOU so that it serves the city better, and also to have a conversation about opening our transfer station. With regard to the Opa-locka flea market, we are having conversations with the owners to discuss various uses. However, as you all are well aware, that is private property and zoned for the use for which their proposals meet. I have no other items to discuss in my report.
Okay, are there any questions for the city manager? Mr. Manager,
Yes, Madam Mayor.
can you let me know what the status is of the open storage ordinance?
Absolutely. At this time, I will ask Mr. Gay to come and provide us with an update on the open storage legislation.
Madam Mayor, members of the commission, Gregory Gay. The open storage legislation is still in development. We are pretty much ready to finalize it. We're going to be presenting that to the manager on tomorrow so that we can actually have that document ready to be brought before you, hopefully by the next commission meeting.
Thank you. And one other question, Mr. Manager, what's the status with the meetings? We had a closed session meeting with our attorney, and during that meeting, we asked for meetings to happen with you and attorney. I'm sure a few of them have happened. What's the status of that?
I believe that the Madam Attorney sent an email this afternoon that she has availability on Friday to meet with me.
Okay. So the meetings haven't happened yet. They will happen.
That's correct, Madam Mayor.
Okay, thank you. I would like to read into record that Ms. Melinda McGill reviewed the invoices for October 2020, December 2020, and January 2021 for our legal services. And they've been paid by the state with all the additional details that was provided. Okay. If no other questions.
Madam Mayor.
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
Under the manager's report, I wanted to read into the record
Sure.
but Vice Mayor, if you are next, I'll wait until after you finish.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
I would like to state for the record that I was not included on the communication that has been happening between the attorney's office with the state of Florida, that all members of the commission was copied on. Also want to state for the record that I've reached out to the attorney's office through phone calls, personal phone calls, and also emails provided through the clerk's office in reference to those items that was also not provided, including a public record request. As soon as today, when I had my agenda briefing, I also reached out and have yet to receive a response. I did receive the response that was provided today from the state of Florida referencing Melinda McGill and the approval of the invoices. But I just want to state for the record that I don't know if anyone else was excluded, but I was not included and I still haven't received that communication.
Thank you. If we can please ensure that all commission at all times are included in all communication. And if Commissioner Davis hasn't received the communication by now, we're asking that all of our colleagues are in the know. So please forward all those emails to him as soon as possible. Thank you. Madam Attorney.
Yes, ma'am. Well, just to address Commissioner Davis's comment, the email that I have in front of me has Commissioner Davis copied on the email in addition to all other commissioners. So we can certainly re-forward that again, but all of you should see on the email that Commissioner Davis is also on the email. And I'm just want to just finally say that had great communications with the state. The format of my bills are fine. You have in front of you the Melissa, Ms. McGill's comments. There are no discrepancies in terms of the bills, that nothing is out of order in terms of the bills. And so I just want to put that on the record. So hopefully we don't have to continue to revisit that type of issue. In addition to that, I do want to, the manager did state, you all probably have seen the email communication that went back and forth. I did reach out to the manager after our closed door session, made a third attempt today, and the manager did to meet with the manager on the union issues. He did respond today and told us of his availability. I will try to gather my team for a Friday meeting, and the manager is looking to meet on Saturday with you all for a closed door session for which an announcement is required. And I'm prepared to make that announcement right now if that works for you all in terms of your schedules for Saturday. The first announcement was going to be, just to let you know, was going to be at 10 for the Ask Me contract. The second announcement was going to be at 11 o'clock for the PBA contract. So if that works for you all, I thought the PBA contract might take longer, so I made that 11. I mean, I could probably make it 11:30 for the PBA contract. So whatever you want, Mr. Manager, I'll read into the record.
Thank you, Madam Attorney. I had set them for 9 and 10 because we have an event with Commissioner Bass at 12.
Thank you. Okay, so you'd like it, but 9 o'clock, I didn't see the PBA or union contract at 9. That's why I said 10. So you do want it at 9.
Yes.
Okay, so if that works for you all, I will go ahead and read that into the record right now.
Okay.
It looks like there's consensus. Notice is hereby given that a private closed-door attorney-client session pursuant to section 447.605 Florida statutes will be held in the Commission Chambers, Shabundy Village Auditorium, 215 Purvis Avenue, Opa-locka, Florida, on July the 16th, 2022 at 9 a.m. or will be moved to an adjoining room within the building where the auditorium is located. The purpose of the meeting is to discuss the following matter. First, union negotiations between the City of Opa-locka and the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees. The following individuals will attend: Mayor Williams, Vice Mayor Taylor, Commissioner Davis, Commissioner Bass, Commissioner Dominguez, Interim City Manager Darvin Williams, and City Attorney Bernadette Norris Weeks, Assistant City Attorneys Shalon McWhorter, Michelle Austin Pammies, and Candace Cobb, and on the record court reporting or another court reporter that is available at that time. At 10 o'clock, notice is hereby given that a new union negotiation between the City of Opa-locka and Dade County Police Benevolent Association in that matter, also known as the South Florida Police Benevolent Association, will be discussed. The following individuals will be in attendance: Mayor Williams, Vice Mayor Taylor, Commissioner Davis, Commissioner Bass, Commissioner Dominguez, Interim City Manager Darvin Williams, and City Attorney Bernadette Norris Weeks, Assistant City Attorneys Sherlon McWhorter, Michelle Austin Pammies, and Candace Cobb, and on the record court reporting or another court reporter that is available at that time. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Are there any future agenda items? Hearing none. Mayor Commission reports.
Madam Mayor.
Commissioner Dominguez.
Well, I'll let Taylor go first.
Ladies first, go.
Okay, mine might be long, so. This will be addressed to the manager. On April 4th, 2022, you, Darvin Williams, were appointed by this commission to be interim city manager until we find a permanent manager. The city clerk, the city attorney, the city manager, you all report to us, not just one or two commissioners. Mr. Manager, in the beginning of you starting, we had good conversations. We discussed a lot of items, a lot of ideas, a lot of projects. I don't know what happened 2 weeks after. This is basically non-response that I've had from you. And specific dates, I'm gonna read for the record. Tuesday, April 19th, I called you on my personal cell phone at 1:20 p.m. Never received a text back from you, a call or a text. Then I called the city phone at 6:28 p.m. You then called me back at 6:52 p.m., 5 hours later. Wednesday, 27th, we were supposed to have a regular meeting at 1 p.m. The city clerk called your office to remind you of our meeting. You text me at 1:03 that you were on your way. You then text me at 1:42 that you apologized, stating that you were on a call with FDLE. I waited for you for about an hour. I actually used my lunch break to come to this meeting. When I have a meeting with my boss at a specific time, I have to be there at the scheduled time. You don't report to FDLE or the governor's office. You report to me and the rest of the commission. On Friday, 24th, June 2022, I met with you regarding the resolution adopted April 13th for the paint program for the residents. You informed me it would take 2 months to execute from the time it passed. You then stated you would speak with staff, which with Adelina Gross for an update, and you would email me by Monday, June 27th, 2022, end of day. Never did I receive a call, never did I receive an email for any updates. Friday, June 8th, we met and asked you again about the paint program. You gave me information about the cost, which I was happy to hear something, and you stated that it had to go through the oversight board for approval. Now, I have here an email dated 5/5, which is May 5th, 2022, which I looked back at all the emails because I knew that I seen something regarding this. And this clearly states here that it was passed by the Chief of Inspector, Melinda Miguel. So my question to you, Mr. Manager, why is it that, we consistently have delays on moving projects forward from this body? I don't know if anybody else in the dais is having these issues with non-response from the manager, but it's clear that this is happening because I'm experiencing it. So I would like for the city manager to answer.
Thank you, Commissioner. There are, I can provide a list of items that you have requested that I address extensively that have gotten resolved. Most recently, you requested that a resident have the Public Works come out and look at their yard. We got that done. You had another resident that came and had us look at the citation that they have. We have that under the review. I would say that out of the, and I keep a roster and I will provide you with a list, out of the 19 requests that you have made, perhaps maybe 3 of them have faced some delays. With the legislation that you have in question with the paint program, as I shared with you in our one-on-one meetings, and you are, for the record, the only commissioner for which I have weekly one-on-one meetings. You are the only one, so you are actually not, you're not actually treated poorly. You're treated more favorably than the others. I do make myself available to all the members of the dais for weekly meetings, and I do appreciate that those weekly meetings are important to you, as they are important to me. I will continue for your legislation, for that legislation, as I shared with you in our weekly meetings, they are not, that legislation did not fund it. So we have been working to figure out, as you suggested, first to put it in the ARPA. And then I said, well, we have to have an ARPA workshop in order to move that forward. Since the ARPA workshop is not until next week, you recommended I look at the city manager's budget. We've done that. I sent you an email to address that specifically, where we discussed opportunities of how to pay for the program. And just to read for the record, the extensive response that I provided to you. The only previous paint program anyone remembers was a program of 5 or 6 years ago where the paint was donated from external sources and there were volunteers to do the painting. Apparently, the city incurred no expense on this project. Preliminary assumptions for possible programs are as follows. 1 gallon of paint covers about 300 square feet of wall and costs around $30. It is assumed that it would take around 5 gallons to paint a house in Opa-locka, small, or about $150. A $10,000 city commitment would provide paint for around 60 residents based on these assumptions, but these assumptions need to be further validated. The program would be analogous to the Broward program. So as you can see in the report that I provided to you contemporaneously with your request, I am actively working to resolve any of your concerns and issues. And will continue to make myself available to you. Even as recently as Monday, you text at Monday evening, good evening. I just received a call from a resident regarding an accident regarding a 6-year-old girl that possibly overdosed. This occurred Saturday. Do you have any information? Please advise Commissioner Dominguez. I responded, you sent that the Monday evening. I responded Tuesday morning at 7:10 a.m. Good morning, Commissioner. I'm in receipt of your text message and shall provide you with additional information once I have it. It did take some time because this turned it out not to be an Opa-locka situation. So we weren't able to identify any information regarding the incident, but we kept working at it. Myself, the police department, and particularly Captain Harrow. And I responded to you that evening. Hi, within 24 hours of your request. Hi, Commissioner, I was able to determine the source of your inquiry. That was not an Opa-locka resident. There was an incident involving a 1-year-old who overdosed on pain medication. This incident occurred on Saturday, July 9th, 2022 at 9:07 in the jurisdiction of Miami Gardens at 3280 Northwest 209 Terrace. Rescue 51 did transport the child to JMH North This information was confirmed via MDFD. You said, thank you, and I said, my pleasure, Commissioner. This is the most recent engagement that I've had with you, Commissioner Dominguez, and I look forward to continuing just that level of response.
Mr. Manager, regarding the resident that you stated that Public Works went, they went there 3 months ago. I'm not sure who was in place at that time. However, somebody went there, took photos of the section that there is a hole in the section that belongs to the city. Yes, she communicated with Manny, is what she stated. But she stated that all they were going to do was put rocks. Now, you know that rocks and water, it's gonna be moving and it's gonna be right in the same position. As a matter of fact, she stated that they still have not done anything and she's still waiting. In regards to my other requests, I'm just gonna direct you, Mr. Manager, to put this program in place by the next commission meeting. Because if it's passed through the state, I don't understand why is it so difficult to get through. I don't know if anybody else is having this problem, but it's clearly a problem. So I want to direct you by next commission meeting to have this paint program for the residents in place. Today marks 3 months. You stated it would take 2 months to execute. We're going on it's 3 months today. So please, get it done. I don't know, get it done by next meeting, July 27th or sooner. Thank you.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
I would ask for some clarification on that request from Commissioner Dominguez. It's my understanding that in order to be directed, it needs to
Mr. Manager, this already passed. This resolution passed April 13th, 2022, and it was approved by the state. Yet you told me it needed to be approved. Again, I don't know why, but thank God that I went back to look for these emails and I found this, and that's what I have here, where it states that they approve it. So other legislation and resolution have passed and have been moved and they've been executed. I don't understand why this one in particular has not been done. I myself, and I mentioned to you that program that you stated 5 or 6 years ago, I don't recall that program, but I do recall one that was older than that, which I informed you that residents would pick up a 5-gallon paint at Public Works. All they had to show with their ID, and that was it. I know because I profited from that paint myself. So I'm not sure how it was executed, if it was a donation. I'm assuming it was probably a donation, but if we have money available, I would like for this to go through because it already passed. So I don't know why we have to discuss something that was already passed and was already approved by the state. So I don't see why we have to vote again when it was already passed.
Thank you. Anyone else? Vice Mayor Taylor.
On a happier note, I would like to, well, I'll say this. Saturday, I want to give a shout out to our parks director and our police department, Opa-locka Shine, the management office that helped put the event together. Ms. Zanya was in here scrubbing and cleaning, and Trent and Captain Harborough had the police putting up chairs, and I spoke to both camps and they said this is the first debate that they had that they actually felt safe in Opa-locka. They had the dogs roaming around. It was a great event, and it allowed Opa-locka to have something that we never really have in our city. So that form to Mr. Manager, I want to tell you thank you. To the police department, thank you. And Ms. Zanya, I want to tell you thank you for making Saturday a great success.
My pleasure, Vice Mayor.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor,
Yes, Commissioner Bass.
I would like to take this moment to thank members of the dais who supported the students at Dr. Robert B. Ingham Elementary during our Talents Week. My attorney came out, the manager came out, Commissioner Davis came out, the mayor, vice mayor, and even the clerk's office came out to support our children. We came in on Monday and we had a mock commission meeting where the manager came and spoke to the kids, the mayor came in, and the other names I call, they actually came to the school and met with the kids, and I thank you all so much. Thank you. Matter of fact, some of them want to be some of you, so that's really cool. And also on this Saturday at 3, from 3 to 12, we will be, along with Commissioner Davis, we will be honoring our 12th grade students from the city of Opa-locka, our residents in the city of Opa-locka. We will be having trade schools, colleges, Publix, Miami Lakes Tech, and other entities to come in and be with our students. And I'm looking forward to seeing you all here. So thank you so much.
Great. Anyone else?
Madam Mayor?
Yes, Commissioner Davis.
Thank you. So this past Friday, hosted our second community conversations with Commissioner Davis event at Town Center Apartments, and was very eventful, very positive and very uplifting. I want to thank staff that was on hand. Mrs. Wilcox was always available when we have our public meetings. She was phenomenal, taking notes and ensuring that many of the concerns that were brought up in the community meeting are being addressed as it relates to public works and safety and crime issues. I also want to thank the manager's office for helping to organize. And also Vice Mayor Taylor for co-moderating this past forum that was held, gubernatorial forum that was held this Friday with candidates Charlie Chris and Nikki Freed. It was a great event. You know, they talked about many issues that are impacting our state. Obviously, we're in a pivotal moment in our state's history where housing and other concerns are need to be addressed. And many of those issues were brought up and spoken to at this past forum. So I just want to thank Commissioner Taylor for co-moderating that, as well as our staff, police department, the manager's office, Parks and Recs, for all that they do to make sure our events and different things that we have here in the city run seamlessly. Thank you.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
I'm sorry, I forgot 2 things. Also, the police department, we actually walked to the city with the kids, and the police department made sure we got here safely. And apart from that, I am elated to let you all know, in the history of schools, grades, Opa-locka Elementary, we are a B school in its history. So kudos to our kids and the staff.
Awesome. And we plan to celebrate. We plan to celebrate. A number of commissioners up here actually went there. So I'm just I'll be brief. I want to thank, as you know, and the days and the weeks are coming together, but thank County Commissioner Daniela Levine Carver for inviting me actually to meet with her at the county. It was amazing to have the conversation with our county mayor to discuss the future. We discussed, of course, housing. We discussed safety and a number of things. And we're, the county is so committed to working with us and having a great working relationship. On my way out, she gave me a pebble that said inspire, and I will take that with me. So I thank her for her knowledge and, of course, the girl power. So just to, we want to make sure that we're moving forward, especially when we know we came from ills and unfortunately crimes of the city. Let's not forget. Also, want to thank Ms. Lucia Rayford from the Meek Foundation for also meeting with me and the city manager, as well as with Chief Israel, for trying to merge and bring partnerships into the city. I am so excited that we have this partnership with the Meek Foundation. And it's been so far, the door is open and we're walking right through it. So thank you, Mr. Williams and the chief, and we're ready to just continue to move our city forward. And lastly, I want to thank Congresswoman Frederica Wilson for her invite to meet our housing secretary, Marsha Fudge, that was here in our city. We're so excited for that. And we're just elated that our city is on the map. People notice us. They're ready to descend and have those great conversations and partnerships with us. So we want to just continue to do that. I would like, if the clerk office, we did this a while back, strategic planning, but I would like for us to meet so that we can do a long-term planning / strategic planning with the board. And you can poll the board when we're ready to get that done, so that as we move into, I always look at it in school years, not, fiscal years, but into the new, of course, and moving into August, so that we're prepared and that we know when we move into September that we have our priorities, and that everything that we as a commission have placed on our agendas, that they're done, that we can let our voices be heard, and we can get some finalization to all of our projects. And so as long as those are a part of our long-term planning and our strategic planning for our priorities, then we can make our city great, which it already is. So we thank you all, everyone, including the employees. Thank you for all your blood, sweat, and tears that you give to us each and every day. Are there any official?
Madam Mayor, actually, before you move on to the
Yes.
final agenda item, on the subject of thanking employees, I just want to take a moment to thank someone very special that's on the dais with us tonight. This will be the last commission meeting with Ms. Diane Darden as an employee of the clerk's office. And I know I speak for City Clerk Joanna Flores when I thank her profusely for over 20 years of service in the office of a city clerk, being the face of the city in many cases. When folks come to visit you all as members of the commission, she's the first person that they see, and she has served honorably. And we are very proud of everything she has done, and we thank her for everything she does for the city. We wish her well as she pursues her endeavors and her passions to serve the senior citizens of this community.
Yes. Miss Dee, do you have anything, Miss Dee, would you like to say anything?
Speech.
Praise God.
No, but seriously, Dee, thank you for all that you have done for not only the clerk's office, for the city. I remember my first day on the job when you saw me and you said, I remember you was a little girl at the park. Remember that? You and your sister. And so you just having, and I was, because I can remember the cheer at, when I used to cheer for the park. Yes, I did. So, but thank you for just the service. We love you. We know you're going to be near to us, but we're excited that our seniors are going to have you now. So thank you. Are there any official board appointments?
None at this time, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Okay. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Move. It's been
Second.
moved in second. Thank you all. Have a great evening. Enjoy your night.